This is my instant post-match review of the Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2 victory. And that was everything that Tottenham Hotspur have not been this season. Everything. They showed desire, backs to the wall, and they're in a huddle now. They're loving it, and they deserve that. A clean sheet for Kinski as well, but just when the going got tough, and it really did get tough, we were 1-0 up at half-time, and then the going got tough at the beginning of the second half. Brentford were putting pressure on. Brentford put over 30 crosses in the box against Spurs today, and Tottenham were like, no, it's not going to happen. They cleared every single one of them. They're brilliant today, Tottenham Hotspur. They showed that they can scrap against adversity. And that is something I've been accusing them of not being able to do all season. So I've got to give them their props where they deserve it. Man to man, they were outstanding. And the best one, and I'm so pleased that he got given player of the match on Sky, Jed Spence at left back, out of position, a player who just a few months ago seemingly not having a future at this club. And he is honestly showing me that he can be one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League. He is so good. He is so good. Spurs go up to 14th in the league, above West Ham, above Everton, 27 points, 10 points ahead of relegation. Maybe we can put that to bed now. But more importantly, 2 wins in a row, going to Anfield, where we have a 1-0 lead in a 2-legged semi-final. And we've just played a backs-to-the-wall effort, where a team has just come at us, and we've said no. And we've kept them out. And that is what we're going to have to do on Thursday night. And it's very exciting to see this as we start to get our players back. Only 9 injuries today. 9 injuries we've got out. And Anne said earlier this week, they're all coming back in the next week to 10 days. And he rested Mickey van der Ven, from everything we hear anyway. He rested Mickey van der Ven, just said didn't want to play him today. So if that's the correct intel we're hearing out of the club, then that means Mickey van der Ven will be fit for the Liverpool game. And that will only help. But I'm going to say it. I'm going to go man to man. Kinski was excellent. He had a few times he had to come and punch free kicks away. He had the sun in his eyes all game. His distribution was good. He didn't try and keep it short all the time. He was like, no, we're going to kick this long if it's not on. And he made a couple of important saves in the first half. Then, Pedro Porro, considering how many minutes he's played this season and how tired he must be, he did really well. They tried to pinpoint him. They tried to play diagonals over his head all game. They tried to get crosses into him at the back post, and he was strong at the back post today. He was strong coming narrow to help out his centre-backs. He was good in the air. And this is a huge result for Tottenham Hotspur. Ben Davies and Archie Gray. Listen, having Ben Davies back over the last few games has been absolutely massive for Spurs. And him and Archie Gray give each other a bit of balance. And they were fantastic today, up against some of the best forwards in the league, Wissa and Buemo. And they didn't put a foot wrong. Header after header, clearance after clearance. Archie Gray in the first half alone, endless blocks, blocking crosses, blocking shots. As I've already mentioned, Jed Spence, player of the match, absolutely outstanding. One of the reasons I think Tottenham were able to put in a performance like that today against one of the most difficult places to go in the Premier League, against the team who scored more goals at home than any other team in the Premier League. One of the reasons we were able to keep a clean sheet and be so good and solid today was he played the double pivot of Bentancur and Bissouma in front of that back four. And I can think of only one time in the first half where there was room for them to run in down the middle. And that is the direct antithesis of what happened in that Leicester game, where for their second goal, we allowed them to just run down the middle of the pitch. Well, they couldn't today. And I said before the game, a lot of Spurs fans think that Bissouma and Bentancur can't really play together. They don't really complement each other. But I said we need them to today, and we need them to develop a partnership because we're going to need them at Anfield as well. And they did, and they fought for each other, and they were giving each other little high fives when they were clearing balls. Bentancur was brilliant today. He was brilliant. He was everywhere, and he reads the game fantastically. If we could just keep him fit, he's such an addition to this team. And they work well together. Of course, there are a few occasions, as there are always going to be with Yves Bissouma, where he does something brilliant, and then within the space of this same move, manages to do something that is so easy that he shouldn't be making a mistake from it. And there are a couple of occasions where he did that. But overall, his positioning was excellent. His tackling, his fighting, really, really good. Deki Kulusevski started in the 8-10 role. He looks tired. He needs a rest, a proper rest as far as I'm concerned. But he doesn't get it because he's got about 12 lungs and he always works hard. Always working, always working. Not his best game, but what a player he is. And then into the front line. Mikey Moore started the game in the first half. He started on the right-hand side. He put in one delicious left-footed cross. He was pushed off the ball quite easily a few times. Brentford are a physical side. Probably a bit unlucky to be taken off at half-time, but Bergvall came in and gave us a bit more steel in midfield, whilst Kulusevski was able to hold it up a bit better on the right-hand side, which we needed in that half because the ball was just coming at us over and over again, long ball after long ball, and our ability to get our foot on the ball, it wasn't that simple in the second half. So times where Kulusevski could use his body to keep the ball were important. Richarlison ran himself into the ground, won some important free kicks. We didn't make a chance for him, but listen, more minutes in his legs, which will be important. He looked spent at the end there. He was running on fumes. And Sonny was fine today. He was fine. But then the important thing, the goals. The first one was an own goal from a corner put in by Son. Really good delivery with the keeper with the sun in his eyes. Own goal, I think, from Janelt. And then the second goal from the substitute, Pape Matar, who I said at the time, he hasn't been in great form, but we need your legs here, Pape. We need your energy. And he made a lung-busting run into the box, slotted in by Sonny, and as the keeper dives at his feet, puts it through his legs. And I'll be honest, in that position when he was in that inside left channel, I didn't think he was going to score, but with the outside of his boot, he slotted it under the keeper, and honestly, one of the most enjoyable moments of the season for me. It's been a difficult season, but to get a win away at Brentford, to keep a clean sheet at Brentford, to play in a kind of style where I think this week the pundits, the commentators will all be talking about, Tottenham have tweaked it. Tottenham have played backs to the wall. Tottenham, even though they're fatigued from a Europa League game, they were able to play in a way where at a very difficult stadium against a very good team who are playing very well this season, it was horses for courses, and they didn't try and play out of their box every single time, putting themselves into trouble. They realised in the second half, going longer, going more direct and trying to scrap for second balls around the halfway line was the way to win that game, and win that game they did. And it's absolutely huge. I cannot tell you how happy I am about it. I'm so pleased for Ange Postecoglou. And listen, I'll be the first to admit, it's been difficult. It's been difficult supporting Ange at times because he hasn't been able to get his first team on the pitch. And his first team still isn't on the pitch. And maybe there's a little bit of an argument to say, why haven't we enabled ourselves to put ourselves in positions like that again, where we can play a bit more direct and a little bit more like, I don't want to use the P word, the pragmatic word, but a little bit more like horses for courses, and just say, okay, we've got a 1-0 lead against Leicester. Let's let them come at us. Let's let them just, have to kind of, press us and win the ball off us and then find gaps or what have you. But today we did. We kind of, it's almost like maybe we were sucked into Brentford style to play because they were incredibly direct. I have to say, it must be, I thought Frank tried to play a bit better football, but actually today I think they knew, and having seen and analysed Spurs, how many goals we concede from crosses, they were like, well, today we're just going to put crosses in the box. And I bet there's a stat that will come out, if it hasn't already been on Twitter, I haven't seen, but it's like, that is the most crosses any team has put in the box this season, I would bet, because it was over 30, it's probably as much as 35. And they were like, if we put enough crosses in the box, Tottenham will wilt. But we didn't wilt. We did not wilt. We stayed strong. And they showed leadership on that pitch today. They showed leadership. Ben Davis, Rodrigo Bentancur, Richarlison putting himself about. Some grit in the spine. And one of the things I like about this new signing that we've made yesterday from France, the centre-back, he's 6'3" and he's a man mountain and he's quick and he's a block. And I've wanted us to bring in a bit more physicality, and they showed some physicality today. And we need to keep showing that. Because in the Premier League, you need, it's a cliche, but you need to fight for the right to play your football. And today, we fought for the right, and we didn't really start playing our football properly maybe till the last 2, 3, 4 minutes of the game where we're popping it about because we're 2-0 up. But we fought for that right to do it. And I'm just so pleased. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever been so pleased to see such an ugly victory. And I don't give a fuck about it. I love the ugliness of that victory. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I'm here for that being the exact kind of performance we put in against Liverpool on Thursday night. Get us through to the League Cup final. They're just showing the Spurs players on the edge of the pitch, giving it to the fans, fist pumping, and just really excited. All the kids are there. Dane Scarlett is there. Kinski, really pleased for him. Another clean sheet for him. Meanwhile, Man United lose 2-0 at home to Crystal Palace. It just shows, doesn't it? I was just going to say before, wasn't I? You know, I haven't always been able to support Ange as much as I want. I've always said this though. I've always said I want it to work for Ange. I want it to be right for Ange. I love him and I want it to be right. I just fear that because he can't get his players on the pitch, he's not going to be able to get the results. But one of the big reasons why Ange is still in a job, I think, is because of what has happened at Manchester United with Amorim, where he's come in and he hasn't been able to change it round. And they cannot ever beat the teams who play low block against them. And it just shows how difficult that is in the Premier League. And Ange and Spurs have struggled with that themselves. But today we went to Brentford at a team where I think they thought they were going to roll us over. We played Thursday night. They'll be tired. Spurs have lost, what, 6 out of their last 7, 7 out of their last 8. They came and they thought, we'll just put cross after cross in the box. They won't stand up to it and we'll roll them over. And because we weren't playing up against a deep block, I think we enjoyed that. And we didn't mind the fighty nature of it. And as a result, a huge 2-0 victory away at Brentford. And we can enjoy our weekend and we can now enjoy the rest of deadline day. And hopefully Daniel Levy will realise the pressure he's under and find a way to surprise us with a big signing, a big forward signing. Someone who can, you know, put pressure on the forward line that we have at the moment. And really someone who can improve our first team. I don't know who that name is. I don't know what options there are. Maybe there aren't and it won't happen. But that's a huge win and it feels like a bit of a feel-good factor. 2 wins in a row now going into that Anfield game. I'm excited for it. It's not going to be easy. I'm just hopeful. I just hope that Liverpool will see it as their least important thing on their plates. And so there will be like a motivation difference where we'll be kind of hopefully 5-10% more motivated than them to get us into a final. How good a week would that be, guys? How good a week would that be? Anyway, that has been my instant match reaction to the Brentford 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2 Premier League victory. Tottenham cooking with gas. 2 wins in a row for the relegation favourites. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you press like on this video and press subscribe on the channel. Cheers.